Good morning, everybody. It's the Climb Dakar Rally Daily Show, and I'm Jesse Ziegler.
And I'm Quinn Cody.
And we're here in the Cycle News studio with the Climb Dakar Rally Daily Show again. How was your evening last night after the race wound up?
Once again, yeah, a good evening. Kind of hung out, maybe watched the guys start the stage before going to bed.
Wow, you're staying up late.
Yeah, I know. That shouldn't be,
But there was some drama yesterday we have to cover today. A little bit of, road book, time gap given back. What's going on out there?
Yeah, so today was stage 4, part 1 of the marathon stage. On yesterday's stage 3, there was some drama with the GPS/digital road book. It looks like Daniel Sanders was credited back some time for his not working. So it looks like they gave him about 5 minutes of time back, because apparently he claimed that he had to just follow, and then the rider that he followed, I think it was Tasha Sharina, was lost, and so he was basically
in the dark
at the mercy of what Sharina did.
Got it.
Frustrating for him, but I think also frustrating for some of the other riders that have had glitches with their road books and their GPSs over the week and haven't gotten time credit back. So this is starting to open up a big can of worms for the ASO.
Yeah.
And it's, how they handle it from here on is going to be really interesting.
It's going to be a challenge. If you remember, Kevin Benavides was supposed to leave the bivouac on stage 2, I think, at a certain time, but his whole system didn't work at all, so they had to replace it. He left 10, 15 minutes late. And then Skyler yesterday, when he called in, he mentioned, it looked like these guys were spinning in circles and lost a little bit. I even lost my cap heading on my device setup. And so I just kind of guessed right. When it turned back on, I was heading the right way. And that's why Skyler made up so much time yesterday. So they just gave Daniel some time back, 5 minutes, and that tightened up the gaps that we saw yesterday. So he ended up having about a 6-minute gap overall on the lead still after that stage. And it was under 2 minutes before that or something.
Yeah. So it opened up his overall lead a little bit and changed his starting position a little bit, not too much. More drama this morning on the first part of the special with road books. So Edgar Canet had an issue with his road book. It wasn't working. It wasn't turning on. The way the organization handled it with Kevin Benavides the other day was that they just continued to let people leave and then put Kevin back. Now with Edgar, they delayed the start. They delayed everyone's start by 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So you think that was a decision change from something they're learning as they go?
Apparently, they're changing the way that they handle this. But what this does to Edgar is he's got tracks, but he doesn't have dust. So he's got a 15-minute gap.
Ooh, right.
So, a young guy like that is probably relying on catching the rider in front of him and then, keying off of that guy. So this has an influence on the race also, right?
Right.
You don't have that 2-minute gap that you can make up. Now you have a 15-minute gap. So no dust, but also no riders to key off of.
Yeah, no visual reference for rider. You can still follow tracks, but as we'll talk about in a little bit, those tracks can be wrong.
Yes, they can.
They can lead you astray. So today shook out. Daniel still started in a fairly advantageous position today. From yesterday's finish, he didn't finish on the top 3 yesterday. So he was. When did he start?
I think he was around 17th off.
Yeah.
Today, so still plenty of tracks to follow, plenty of people to follow.
And Daniel took advantage of that. He put the hammer down. Him and Tasha Sharina were really roasting out there. I would say they were on the gas, and it sounds like the stage was just brutal on these guys' hands, like rocky, no flowing, fun sand. You see those highlight clips of the helicopters of the guys floating over dunes and having a great day on their bike and popping wheelies and waving to helicopters. I don't think that happened at all today. It sounded like it was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, we got some quotes from the bivouac, and it looks like everybody's just cooked. They're toast. Their hands are destroyed, their arms. So they're turning the screws on them for sure.
And part of the marathon, fun is that they don't get to, see their masseuse or get a good meal. They got to kind of sit in a tent and just suffer for 24 hours.
Sleep in their riding gear. So the organization actually for this marathon stage gave the guys a small bag, whatever they could put in the bag, in their tent, their sleeping pad. and then they transported it to the marathon bivouac.
They pick up their bag there and
yep. And then
go for it.
The Rally GP riders got 30 minutes to work on their bikes, and Rally 2 got 1 hour to work on their bikes.
Got it. We were a little bit confused on that yesterday. We thought it was an hour and a half for everybody, but yeah, 30 minutes is all. And you can help your buddy in that 30-minute time if you want to, but
yeah, no switching wheels, you know, I mean, whatever parts that are marked, you can't switch. Maybe you could switch some other stuff, but haven't seen anything out of the, you know, any drama from the work zone at all. So we don't really know how that all went, but I assume everybody's, you know, geared up and ready to go for tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't see anybody zip tying tires onto their rim like we did with Toby Price a few years ago.
Yeah, not yet.
But anyway, Sanders dropped the hammer and he won the stage by 15 seconds over Tasha Sharina. And it sounds like Tasha held up at the end of the stage on purpose, so he didn't have to lead out tomorrow.
Yep. So it sounds like Tasha caught Sanders. I think he started not far behind him, caught him, and then just they rode together for the remainder of the stage. Then towards the end of the stage, it looks like Tasha backed off to let Sanders have to lead. Mm-hmm. I mean, smart move. He's not super confident, I think, leading out. You know, he had some struggles yesterday with navigation. So, you know, I don't think Sanders is scared to lead out.
No.
I think he's happy to go lead. You know, he's got enough navigation experience. So, you know, he's like, whatever, I'll lead out.
Do you think it was worth it for Tasha to not get his first official stage win? Because he's never won a stage. He's won a prologue, but he could have won his first Dakar Rally stage win, which is kind of a big deal, especially for Honda and all those guys. You know, he wants to win stages at Dakar, but he held up on purpose, but he's still starting second tomorrow. It's not like he dropped to 15th and he has a really advantaged position.
Right. He's still, I mean, even if
he's still in the lead, he's still in the front.
Yeah, he's still at the front of the pack. I mean, strategically, I don't know that was a huge benefit at this stage in the race. I mean, I think in the general, he's still about 10 minutes off of Sanders. So it's not like he's going to make up 10 minutes on Sanders and go into the rest day in the lead.
Yeah.
I think it was more based on just fear of leading out.
Yeah, sure,
you know?
sure.
I mean, you could say it's maturity. He's holding back and not getting the stage win, but I think he's a little bit scared after yesterday.
Just confidence, probably. He's going to feel better just chasing one guy who he hopefully can catch up to because Sanders is on the gas. So there you go. 15-second gap today. Tasha's back there. Then Nacho is right behind them. He's 7:49 off the lead. So he's, 7.5 minutes behind Tasha. And that's your top podium today. Nacho came back. Nacho was one of the vocal ones on Instagram. If you caught his story yesterday, he was saying, hey, a lot of people have had problems with their navigation system and nobody's gotten time back yet. Why are you giving time back now?
Yeah. I mean, Nacho called out the organization. I mean, rightfully so. We knew this was going to open up a can of worms, and how do you deal with that, right?
The only way you can deal with it is you just go back to a piece of paper like this. This is actually Ricky Brabec's 2022 Stage 6 road book from Saudi Arabia that Kendall Norman brought us as a gift from, and this never goes bad. Like this,
no,
there's no error in here. Yeah,
it's been how many years now? And
yeah, this thing's still good. It's still working.
You could still go ride that stage.
2022. There's the notes you can follow. I could go out in Saudi Arabia and find that start point, and I couldn't. I would get lost terribly, but you could do it and find your way home. So that's the only solution.
Yep.
But they'll figure it out, I'm sure, and they'll probably get some organization. Who knows? But
yeah, well,
it's given us stuff to talk about, and that's good. Fourth place, Adrian Van Beveren. He was 8:08 off the lead, so not too far back. This is actually a pretty tight gap in the top 10 today. Another Sherco in the top 5 after Lorenzo Santolino won yesterday. Rui Concalves, he got 8:55 off the lead pace today. He's in 5th place, so rad for Sherco to be up there, knocking down the door again.
Yeah, these Sherco bikes have been solid. They're really kind of getting in the mix with the KTMs and the Hondas, so it's impressive.
Yeah, if you look at it, it's KTM, Honda, Hero, and Sherco all in the top 5. So 4 different manufacturers in the top 5, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's really cool to see now that obviously we don't have Husqvarna or Gas up there. Yamaha's been out of it for a couple of years, so it's still cool to see 4 manufacturers in the top.
Yeah, very awesome. Tobias Ebster, youngster who won the Malimoto class last year. He was the top R2, Rally 2 guy today, but he finished in 6th overall, 10 minutes and 14 seconds off the pace. Bradley Cox, first time in the Rally GP class this year for Bradley. He's in 7th, 10:55 off the pace. And then Lorenzo Santolino, who won yesterday, had a great ride today, and he finished in 8th, 12:27 off the pace. So like really good ride for Sherco.
Yeah,
two guys in the top 10.
Santolino, he's solid, and he got quite a bit of bonus time today, having to open up. And, he was almost 4 minutes of bonus, so he was at the front for quite some time.
Yeah. Pablo Quintanilla on the Honda, he finished in 9th place, 12:38 off the pace. And Stefan Svitko, the veteran out there, in his 4,000th Dakar Rally or so, he was only 15 minutes off the pace in 10th, and that's the top 10. And there are some people missing in the top 10 that we expected to see.
Yep. I mean, the bulk of our general classification podium and top 5 is really out of the top 10.
Yep. It seems to be the navigation caught some people out today. Leading the race caught some people out today. In particular, Ross Branch, Skyler Howes, and Ricky Brabec, they were leading basically as a group, with Ricky probably making the course today on the front.
Yep.
And it sounds like they ran into a snafu just right at the end that really cost them 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, what it looks like is in the last 20 kilometers really of the stage. So they did a really good job leading out, and I think limited their damage. And then the last 20 kilometers, they went wrong somewhere, and looks like all 3 of them went wrong, and they lost a fair bit of time. I think Branch is right around 19 minutes, Brabec just about 20 minutes, and Howes another 20 minutes. So
really flipped the race on its head a little bit here. And we saw this a few years ago where these time gaps would really start flipping in big gains. 10, 15-minute gain isn't that impossible. And now it seems we're back sort of in that rhythm where the time bonuses are going to minimize that loss. But if you make a single mistake out there, you're going to be flipping a lot.
Yeah, I mean, 20 minutes, it sounds like a lot of time to lose on one stage, but Daniel Sanders has got to lead out tomorrow, and he could do the same thing and lose that 20 minutes. The general classification now is not quite as tight as it was.
Right. Yesterday we had minutes separating people, and now there's tens of minutes separating people is basically the change. Daniel Sanders is in the lead, fairly comfortable in front of Tasha, who's moved into 2nd place, and he's 13:26 ahead of him. Yep. And Ross Branch in 3rd place, 26 minutes back. So instead of a few minutes separating the top 3, now we have 26 minutes separating the top 3.
Yeah. And, so this is looking good for Sanders going into the rest day. He's got the opportunity tomorrow. If he can limit his time loss, then he's got an opportunity to go into, the rest day with, I would say, a good 10-minute cushion, which is a really good place to be, especially after this grueling, super tough first week.
Yeah. They're finishing this first week off with the brutal marathon stage, as you guys have heard. But the distance, 400K today in the Rocky Crap, and 400K again tomorrow racing in the Rocky Crap. So they're really trying to beat these guys down before they give them a day off.
Yeah, they're gonna need this rest day.
Yeah, they're probably gonna feel worse after the rest day, which often happens. Your body just shuts down. Skyler was in 4th on general classification now. He is 27 minutes off the pace. Ricky's in 5th general classification, 29 minutes off the pace. Adrian and Pablo Quintanilla are 6th and 7th. They're basically 30 and 33 minutes off the pace, respectively. Luciano Benavides, he's in 8th place overall. He's 35 minutes. And then Nacho in 9th place, he's pushing an hour off the pace. That's a big gap between 8 and 9. And then Lorenzo Santolino's right behind him, 5 minutes. So really, those two guys are about an hour out in 9th and 10th place.
Yep.
But everybody else is within 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting, when you look at from 3rd to 6th, I mean, there's really only a couple minutes there in that gap. So that battle for the podium is pretty strong right now. And I think these guys are all kind of on the same side of things. So that 3rd to 6th place is they're not gonna swing very far, right? These guys are gonna be racing.
Yeah.
To where Sanders is kind of on the opposite end of it. So he's going to be losing and then gaining and losing and gaining. So these three, this group basically any of those guys could win this rally.
Yeah, right. And they're going to be just fighting to kind of stay in that zone. And again, waiting for somebody to make the wrong turn, like what happened today, to really give them that 10-minute advantage, and then it's neck and neck.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. Should we hear some quotes from these guys today? We got some good quotes from the organization. We'll just hear from the top 3 guys that got quoted up here. Let me cue it up. Right, first up we have Daniel Sanders, stage winner. He's entertaining as always and very candid and honest. So here's his quote today after the stage.
What happened on the last 20 Ks?
The last 20?
Yeah, kilometers. Seems it was a bit a mess.
No, not really.
Not for you.
No, it was a little. I was behind. I got lost a fair bit before that, and then I was catching back up to Nacho and Tosha, and then got into the dust there, and then I don't know. It was all right for me. I just tried to follow the lines and just check the road book and make sure everything's good. But I know this area and it can be tricky, so you just got to focus and be good with it all. So, yeah, a little bit of cat and mouse at the end, trying to slow down. And, Tosha was leading and he stopped for 2 minutes, so then I opened tomorrow. So it's all good. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, so you improve your position.
Yeah, to win the stage, I guess, and I knew there was a good chance to extend the overall lead after I lost so much time yesterday, which was out of my control. So yeah, it was important to get that lead back, and then now tomorrow the pressure's back on to try and not lose too much and open really well. But this area is definitely going to be hard, and the navigation's tricky. So yeah, I know what I'm in for, and it's really important to freshen up tonight and come out.
How does it feel to lead from the start of the rally?
It's always good. It's also even better. Like yesterday when I did it, I just focused on myself, and I did the same in Morocco, and the guys made mistakes behind. So it's good when you can just focus on what you're doing and not looking at other lines and making sure, because you're 100% focused on the road book. And then I'm sure they'll be following the lines a little bit, but hopefully no mistakes and no big ones.
Pretty good stuff from Daniel. He sounds confident. He's not worried about people taking little picnics out there and letting him come by. And, he did ride really well at Morocco, which we didn't cover Morocco in depth. But, man, he kind of, his first on pace on the new bike, he really put in some confident rides up front.
Yeah, he sounds really good. And I think that's the best attitude to have, is to not worry about what everybody else is doing and just do your own thing. Yeah. He really did do the same thing in Morocco. He controlled that race from the beginning, and he didn't worry about losing. He lost a little bit of time here and there, but he always had enough of a cushion, and it's kind of the same thing he's doing here. So if you have the speed to control the race from the beginning, which he's got the speed to control this, like he can make up time anytime he wants, right? So he's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, he's a confident Chucky. He's a dangerous Chucky.
Yep,
very good. Let's hear from Ross Branch, who's obviously not as happy with his race today, but are we going to get angry Ross Branch, do you think?
I don't know. I've never seen an angry Ross Branch, so
let's see if Ross gets angry today.
Not an easy one. You get lost with Honda boys.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing. It was a good day until the last 20 kilometers, and we made a big mistake. And guess that's rally. So let's see what happens tomorrow.
So not easy to open obviously the stage as usual. So what could be the?
No, this is a really tough Dakar. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Tomorrow we'll probably start a bit further back than I'd liked, but it's racing, and let's see how we can fix it tomorrow.
It seems that some of you had some trouble with the rear tire. How is yours?
No, mine's fine. Tire's fine, bike's fine. I'm good. So yeah, should be happy, but really annoyed that I made such a stupid mistake at the end. And during the stage I made also one mistake, so we'll see what happens.
Ricky said that the second week will be a lot easier and more difficult to catch time. You share his opinion?
Yeah, for sure. We needed to make it happen today. Today was the last day to make a big difference, and we didn't do that. But it is what it is. Let's see what we can do next week.
That's kind of interesting that they're thinking next week is going to be harder to make up time. And he's obviously a little mad, for the record. He's not happy.
Yeah, that's I would say the most down Ross Branch we've seen. Next week they start heading into the dunes, and into the empty quarter, and there's a lot less terrain, so it's less varied. There's not as many rocks. There's not as many pistes and roads. And in the dunes, generally, you're going on a cap heading, so you're not going to see guys get lost and lose 20 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. They're just going to be following caps and keying off of each other, and there'll be swings every day, but it's not as critical. Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to make up time riding, but there's still mistakes, there's still technical problems, crashes, so anything can happen.
Yeah, and he sounds like he got hung out with Ricky and Skyler and those guys in this navigation era, and that really bummed him out. But let's hear from Ricky, who was at the front of the race all day, and see how that shook out with him.
Definitely not the best day of the week. I opened almost all day. I'm really happy with my riding and I'm happy with my navigation. But yeah, 15 kilometers back, man, we made a big mistake, and that definitely killed us. But we're here, we're healthy, and we're walking, and nothing you can do about it. Hopefully some of the other guys followed the bad lines that we did. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm happy with how I'm performing. Obviously, my results aren't showing that, but it's rally. One moment you could be doing the best you've ever done, and then one note later you lost your Dakar. So that's the way rally is. I opened up from kilometer 3, so it was a long day for me. And just the 4 notes a kilometer. The guy that opens really loses the race. So if you want to win the Dakar, I suggest you never to open, and you'll win the Dakar, no problem.
You were watching your rear tire. Any worries for tomorrow?
No, I'm not worried for tomorrow. I just hope I can get to the end of the Dakar in one piece. I want to do the best I can, and I want to perform the best I can, and I'm happy with how things are going right now. So at the end of the day, I guess my result doesn't really matter, but it matters to me a lot. I take it too personal, but yeah, I'm happy with how I'm riding, and the results don't show. So we'll see where we are at the end of the Dakar.
Still more than 1 week, so it's not finished.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do in the first week is they're trying to eliminate a lot of people, and I think a lot of the amateurs probably won't come back after this week, but. Yeah, I think next week's going to be a little bit easier. There is a lot of racing left, but I think this week is the make it or break it week. So, we'll see what happens. We'll make a good push, and we'll have fun riding our motorcycles. It's the best job I've ever had.
A lot of pressure on Ricky right now. It sounds like he's putting himself in a position where he feels like he has to perform and be at the front.
Yeah, it's tough, in rally in general, right? Like Dakar is the only thing that really matters. Yeah. And they work all year long for this one race. And so if one thing comes up that derails your whole effort, it's frustrating, and it's, hard to stay positive. But, I don't think he's out of it by any means. No. It's a bummer to lose time, but like he said, try not to open.
Yeah.
He's got to tell Daniel Sanders that. Which Daniel's opened, and he's going to open tomorrow, and he's still looking pretty good for a win. So I don't think that's 100% accurate, but yeah, I think you got to win stages if you want to win this race.
Yeah, and Daniel's winning stages. Can you talk about Ricky mentioned 4 notes per kilometer? What does that mean for listeners and viewers as far as how the road book is being read, and what 4 notes per kilometer actually means?
Yeah, so 4 notes per kilometer is obviously, that's a lot of information that you have to digest. So what he's saying there is basically you're coming into a junction. It'll say hang right on track less visible. So okay, you stay right. Then 100 meters later, there's another note that says go on cap, 253, and then you'll go maybe 200-300 meters, and there'll be another note that tells you, to drop into a riverbed or something, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, maybe another couple hundred meters, exit riverbed. So it's all this information that you have to process in a really short, 1 kilometer is, it's 1,000 meters, right? Yeah. So you're having to process all this information in a really short amount of time. And a lot of times, you can blow by a kilometer and blow by 4 notes before you even look down at your road book. And a lot of these guys are doing that. Like they're following tracks and they're running into these sections, and then they look down and all of a sudden they're 3 notes back in the road book and they have to advance and go, oh, did I get that right? Or, so it's really easy to blow a couple notes in a short period of time like that.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's just a concentrated turning and direction changes, or even just instructions. And sometimes the people that build the road books just do this to drop you down into a wash and drop you right back out of it for no real reason other than to make you start turning more. But you don't know that. And if you miss it and you end up back on the road and you're happy, you're like, okay, well, I didn't really miss anything there. I can keep going. But you never know when there's going to be a waypoint ahead that you have to hit, or if that is going to send you down, the yellow brick road to nowhere.
If you exit the wash at the wrong spot, you exit too early or you exit too late, and you catch a road that appears to be the right road, but it's actually going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It can really screw you up, and maybe you don't realize until, 3 or 4 kilometers later that you've taken the wrong track back there.
Yeah.
And then, your cap headings aren't adding up, your notes aren't adding up. So then you have no choice but to backtrack to the last place you knew you were on, or look for somebody else's dust and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And, that's always a risk because you don't know that the other guy's on the right track either.
Yeah, and if you watch some highlights, you see these guys out there turning around in circles and doing some stuff. Not usually the top guys that often, but definitely, the mid-pack back marker guys, or if you're in a car, you have to turn around a lot because you don't know how to navigate, right?
But I mean, it's such a crazy race to think about. I mean, we're talking about weeks. Okay. Yeah. This week it's tough. Like it's going to be a hard week, and their navigation, the guys are lost in the desert, and next week won't be so bad. We're looking forward to next week. It's going to be easy.
Next week will be easy. We've only raced 25 hours in 4 days, 4 stages, 6 days.
Yeah.
Dude, crazy maniacs.
Yep. And we're trying to get some information to come in from the bivouac, from some of the team managers and stuff, but we're still waiting. It seems like those guys are a little bit busy. So maybe we get something in the next little bit.
Maybe, but right now we could do Q&A, Quinn and Answer.
We can.
You want to do some Quinn and Answer stuff?
Sure.
All right. I got some really good comments on YouTube. Some of them are snarky. Some of them are wondering, why don't you talk about your Speed Brain days, your involvement with Speed Brain? And I told him, well, he's still mad. So explain what happened with you and the Speed Brain team specifically. You were knowledgeable. You educated us all about what Speed Brain is, where they came from, what they were in charge of. But your personal involvement, this guy still has a seat with your name on it on his G450X BMW.
Oh, wow.
So give us the dirt.
That was, I guess, 2012 going into 2013. I had a contract lined up to race for Speedbrain Husqvarna, and actually broke my femur at the Baja 1000 in the end of 2012, and so obviously I missed 2013 Dakar, which okay, whatever. It's right. It happens. These things
It's one
part of
race,
racing, right? So
what could possibly happen? I still have a contract.
And then KTM bought Husqvarna during that time, and we basically found out at the finish of Dakar 2013, which it was actually a pretty disastrous Dakar for the Speedbrain team. I think they only had 1 bike finish, and so it was not the best Dakar. So I mean, maybe it was fortunate that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Husqvarna was purchased by KTM Group. The Speedbrain thing kind of dissolved. They still had a contract with BMW. They were able to finish out that championship season. Mm-hmm. But, I was basically left without anything at that point because there was no guarantee in my contract or no clause in there saying that, hey, if we get purchased, so whatever. I was out. So I think I raced 1 race for Speedbrain that season. And then, that was about it.
Just evaporated.
Yep.
Your whole career just went up in smoke. Thanks to KTM.
I mean, I was on the tail end of my career at that point anyway, so it was.
Dude, you were just about to hit your stride. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
KTM bought it. ruined your career of racing, and now you work at KTM.
And I ended up at KTM. So, yeah.
And they got
That's how
you.
it goes.
They really got you.
That's
All
it.
right.
They purchased Husqvarna to get me. Really,
That's
it was the
probably what
I
happened.
think that's
Yeah.
really what it came down to.
I like
value.
that. There's some people commenting on what noise is going on. Like you hear some beeping and some buzzing and that kind of stuff on the bikes. You can hear it when they're like stopped, or even when they're riding, you can hear a buzzer and a beep go off. Like of all the navigation equipment and all the stuff on the bikes, that's pretty massive. What's going on as far as making noise, and why is it making noise?
So there's an alarm on the bike, and it's part of it is used for the Sentinel, which is the pass alert system. So when a car comes up behind a motorcycle or a car comes up behind another car, they can push a button and it sets off an alarm so that they know to move out of the way. It also is there for validating waypoints. So normally when you hit a waypoint, it'll go beep, boop.
Yeah.
And it lets you know that you hit the waypoint, so you can kind of look down. Also alerts you to speed zones and, changes in speed and things like that. So if you're over speeding, it'll start to beep at you when you get close to the speed limit.
Got it. Okay. So it's like a confirmation or a warning system. Yeah.
Warning system, basically, yeah.
But the organization can also talk to you through the bike, right?
Yeah, they have basically a satellite phone on the bike. So if you stop and you're stopped for a little while, then normally the satellite phone will open up and they'll ask you if you're okay, if you need assistance, so there's quite a bit of technology on the bike, and in the sound you hear, like a lot of times you hear those alarms going off in the pits, and because someone will push the button or whatever, and it'll go beep 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 beep, and you hear this stuff going on all night long.
Everybody's just immune to it, so it doesn't mean anything after a week.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. The next question we get is, and we get this a lot, is what happened to the Dakar Fantasy Derby? And we should probably clarify that we're not doing the fantasy thing this year, but it's not our fault. It's Radek's fault because he quit his free programming job that we made him do for the last 2 years. And it was fun, but that's where Derby went. We're not smart enough to make it. So if anybody wants to make us a fantasy league out there, if you're a programmer, go ahead, contact us. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
For free. Like, we're not putting any money in it. You're not going to get paid. Nobody's getting paid. It's just for fun. And the point is, like, and somebody commented, like, me and my wife would just get in, we'd start betting on these guys, and then we became like fans of them because we've never heard of them before we started betting on them in this fantasy thing. And now we follow them on the other rallies they do. We follow them on social media. So like, it's cool. We get it, but we don't pay people to do it.
Yeah, it's a big effort for Radek to do, and he's got to go through and parse all that information from the results and deal with this stuff every day. So it's probably more work than doing the podcast every morning.
It's definitely more work than this. I'm literally just pushing buttons, and these things are doing all the work for me.
Talking.
Yeah, Radek. We want to continue our friendship with Radek. That's why we let him quit his free job.
Yeah.
What's going on tomorrow on the second half of this marathon 2-day event? Again, 400 kilometers, going to be stage 5. Then they get a rest day. What do you think is going to shake out as far as terrain? Do you know anything about that? Have you heard anything?
I think it's going to be similar today, where we're seeing a lot of this rocky, kind of different colored sand and tracks. I don't know how difficult the navigation is going to be. We never really know, but it's a 492 kilometer special. And they're starting straight from the marathon bivouac, so no liaison stage. So they're basically racing right out of the gate, and it looks like there's 2 refuelings. So obviously, 492 kilometers is going to be a lot of distance to cover. So they're going to be burning a lot of fuel.
Do you think starting the race right out of the bivouac obviously is more preferable? Because the liaisons kind of suck, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're terrible.
They're terrible. You see these guys bundling up in snowmobile suits and, everything, the heated gear just to get that couple 100K to the start of the race. It's got to be horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody likes that. And, normally your start time is a lot earlier when you have to leave at, sometimes 4:45 in the morning, 4:30, whatever, and ride 200 kilometers on the highway. That nobody likes that. So I think, obviously they prefer to just race straight out of the bivouac.
Yep. One guy we haven't talked about yet today, Mason Klein, our favorite punching bag as it is this year. We like to beat up on Mason since he doesn't call us anymore, but he's got a pretty good reason to ignore us, I guess. He had engine issue. He had to replace his motor because of clutch issue. We got a report from Gary, who imports Cove here in the U.S. at Cove Moto USA, that they actually assembled the clutch assembly wrong in the bike when they assembled like the bike, and that's what caused his failure. So Gary and the whole team feel pretty terrible for Mason because it wasn't him overriding it. Apparently, it wasn't him beating up the bike and the bike failing. It was kind of just like a, oops, we didn't tighten that thing down enough. But Mason was ripping today. He was on time, for a while at the top, looking really good. Like he was going to come in with a good stage, possibly a stage win, but gets to a pit and has to see the medic. What the heck happened?
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it because like everybody listening has been commenting. And
Where's Mason at?
This whole Cove deal and Mason, struggling through every day is just like it's hard to watch. And apparently, according to the organization, he's got pink eye. Yeah. So it gets even weirder.
Yeah, how did that happen?
So they say he has conjunctivitis, and
Just
he was
pink eye.
leading the stage, and then between wherever he was that he stopped, I guess he's having trouble with his vision. Now he lost an hour between there and the end of the stage. He's in the marathon bivouac. They have medics there and stuff, so they'll be able to treat him. I mean, obviously, trying to race a Dakar stage with impaired vision is not a good idea. It's not safe.
Not advised.
But I mean, this whole thing from the get go is just strange. We've had all these problems with the bike, and then why he's even on this bike is the other question. We've
That is
getting a lot
definitely-
of questions from people, and we've kind of danced around this subject. But
we don't know really, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, nobody really knows, but I would have liked to have seen Mason on a proper bike and, with a proper team and proper organization and planning and everything and be able to handle this rally. And, it's unfortunate when you get into these situations, and there's really no upside for anybody. I mean, yeah, they're getting attention because they have a fast guy on the bike, but if he's having constant failures and problems, then it doesn't make anybody look good. And, it's another year that Mason is not living up to his potential.
Yeah, he does have high potential. He's won stages at Dakar, and he's led out front, and he's done good stuff. And the Cove should be capable. It is capable of finishing the race. We've seen it struggle when it gets up to the higher end skill level and speed. Mechanical stuff happen. But on the other hand, his teammate Niels Therick today finished 14th, 20 minutes off the pace.
Yeah, Niels is up there and he's doing okay on the bike, but maybe his pace is a touchdown and he's just not quite as hard on the bike, or maybe it's just something to do with the preparation. They did a better job on that bike than they did on Mason's bike. But
and this is what happens when you get on a big factory racing team that's been here for decades. All the bikes are going to be prepped properly, right?
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen the end of this drama. I mean, it's stage 4, and we've still got a long ways to go. So I think there's going to be more of this to come.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to watch because I really would like to see Mason succeed. And so,
yeah,
I
think everybody feels the same way. Young American kid coming out, swinging, turning some heads, doesn't get on a factory bike. Nobody knows why. And then he's on a Cove for some reason. And then, his potential's not being seen. So tough deal. More on a positive note, Jacob Argebright on the RS Moto Honda Rally team. He's the top Honda in Rally 2 again. Jake's having, I would say, a great rally so far, and he's putting in good rides, consistent, and he's sitting just outside the overall podium in Rally 2, which I think is fantastic. Niels Therick on that Cove right in front of him, then Edgar Canet and Tobias Ebster. I mean, Jake's only 11 minutes out of the podium, of the lead for Rally 2. Rally 2 is exciting. Rally 2 is getting hot.
Yeah, there's a big battle in Rally 2, and Jake's, he's been really consistent this year, and, he was only 20 minutes off the lead today, really, and which is, I would say, really good ride for him. Yeah. And, the bike seems to be pretty solid. So, he's doing a great job. We actually should reach out to Jake and he's always been willing to give us quotes and information. So we need to remember to reach out to Jake maybe tomorrow when they during the rest day.
Yeah, we can get him to give us some reviews of the food. He's been very good at his food reviews again. Well, not as good as he was last year, let's be honest. His food review quantity has gone down, but the quality is pretty high. He reviewed the, I don't know what you call it, the instant meal they got at the 48-hour chrono stage.
Right.
So you should watch him on Instagram. He's pretty funny. But yeah, we'll get a hold of him. Anybody else you want us to talk to, please send us a note, and we'll try to get in touch with him.
Yeah, we're still trying to get some English interviews with Sandra Gomez, so hopefully we can get some of our people on the ground over there to get us some info from Sandra. I think she's around top 60 somewhere in the 60s, so she's still trucking along and doing I would say pretty well. And she's on a Fantic, right?
I think she's on a Fantic,
which we did clarify is actually a Yamaha chassis and engine.
Yeah.
That Fantic is built a kind of a rally kit on top of.
Yep.
So
apparently it's built on a WR450, and hey, good for them.
Yep.
Yamaha's coming back, man.
Good stuff.
We just need Kawasaki in there and Suzuki. I heard a rumor about Kawasaki a couple of months ago, and I don't know if it's true. They're thinking about racing rally, and they're teasing a new adventure bike as well, like a twin-cylinder 500 plus cc adventure bike, which that kind of goes hand in hand. Like these manufacturers are like, we're going to come out with this adventure bike. We got to race the cool adventure race, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool to see another Japanese manufacturer in there and mixing it up. But, it's a big investment. So
seems like it. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to the second half of this, getting to the rest day, figuring out what the heck's going to happen in the second week. And if it's actually going to be easier, like Ricky says, I don't think so. I think it's going to be hard every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough no matter what you're riding through dunes and stuff. I think maybe it's just a little bit, it's maybe physically difficult, but I think it's maybe a little easier mentally on the riders. And so, you have to kind of measure that stuff in when they're always stressed out about getting lost. That's a big load on their minds. So when they get into the dunes, they know they can just kind of open it up and ride the bike to where right now they're stressed.
Well, let's see how Daniel handles that tomorrow. It's going to be a big test. One of the hardest things he's going to do in this rally is probably trying to not lose so much time tomorrow with tough navigation through rocky terrain. And if he's riding like the Daniel he's been riding all year, he's going to maybe drop a few spots and not lose that much time. Yeah.
I mean, this is really going to be kind of a deciding stage for him and how we end up going into the rest day and where it sets everybody up for week 2.
Who's going to win tomorrow?
Ooh, good question. I mean,
Ricky.
I kind of have to go for a Ricky Brabec or a Ross Branch, something like that. Yep. Skyler is, Skyler
16th.
Yeah, Skyler. So Skyler's got a good starting position. So I think there's potential there. It's a long stage, another 500 kilometers. So there's a lot of time out on the table that these guys could gobble back up.
Well, here's to everybody having a safe day tomorrow and, putting the hammer down and being badasses like you always are.
Yep.
I'm excited to see it. Thanks, Quinn, for all your answers today.
Yep. And we got to thank all of our sponsors, of course.
Of course. We got a couple new ones still. These guys keep coming in hot, man. Top of the list, Climb, obviously. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I got a new sweatshirt today. Somebody called us out for wearing the same sweatshirts every day and that they must start stinking. But I got a new one on for you. Yeah. Climb, building the best riding gear out there. Go check them out. BajaRallyMoto.com. You got to go sign up so you can race a moto rally in Mexico. Just go do it. Quinn, you should go do it again. You've done it once.
Probably won't, but yeah, I've done Baja Rally a couple times and
your schedule's too full with all your children.
Yeah, kids, work, all this stuff.
Rally Navigator is going to teach you how to read road books, basically, by teaching you how to build a road book, which the best way to learn how to read a road book is to...
build a road book.
Say, build 100%. A road book. Just like we practiced that.
It's the problem with some of the best training you can do for road book is to build it and to understand how they're put together. Because if you don't do it yourself, you don't really understand what the guy is trying to tell you.
Yeah, right.
So spend a little time on Rally Navigator, get it figured out, and get out and ride.
Yeah, you can mess around with it for free.
Yep.
And then it's worth the money if you want to download it. It's not expensive and it's worth it. It's so cool. The Nora Mexican 1000 is the happiest race on earth. It's like the Disneyland of motorcycle races. So go sign up for that. That's coming up in the spring. We got Moto Minded on board. Moto Minded, honestly, I've had LED headlights from Moto Minded on dual sport bikes for a long time. They make these cool little bomber switches that replace your junky OEM switches so they don't break when you tip over, because I do that a lot too. Double take mirror, also something that I tip over and push around a lot, but they never break. They're awesome. High Desert Adventures, our boy Ace there, he's got a bunch of stuff lined up. Big Tecate to Cabo ride. Plus, he offers race support services for all of the North American rallies. We're talking Sonora Rally, Baja Rally, Nora Mexican 1000. He's going to be there. If you need someone to help you and assist you in getting there and having a pit to park your bike at every day, call up Nace, highdesertadventures.net. .net. Don't do .com. That's somebody else. Who knows who that is? And we got a new sponsor today, Slick Off-Road Products. If you go to slickproductsusa.com or handsomerider.com, you can buy Slick Off-Road Wash.
Slick Off-Road.
Yeah. You just spray it on your bike.
I need some
dirty,
of that. And
it cleans it.
Everything I own is dirty right now.
Yeah. This is made for us.
I know.
Think it'll clean my van?
Does it come with a guy to wash my stuff too?
I think we can get Joe to come wash our stuff. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's do that. So thanks to Slick for stepping up. They decorated our new studio layout since we got in trouble for having our cameras on the wrong side of our bodies.
Yeah.
But
now maybe it looks like we're looking at each other when we're talking to each other, and I'm not like,
yeah. I hope so. I hope I did it right. If I didn't do it right, please stop commenting about it. I don't care anymore.
or we just go back to podcasting and not have to
Yeah. Who decided to put this on video anyway?
come in here in our pajamas again.
Yeah, that was nice. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. We appreciate your comments and, sharing all our stuff. It helps us get the word out about rally and hopefully get more people racing rally. So thank you so much. See you later.